Hey, everybody. I am super excited to have my friend, Ellen Jenny Watkins, with us today. She is an artist and she also facilitates workshops for corporations, creative workshops, I should say, very creative workshops. Do you want to tell us more about that?
I would love to. Hi, everybody. Hi. So first and foremost, I'm an artist. I create heart healing work that helps us connect back to our own inner spark, because so often in life, we can become disconnected from that light inside, and then all kinds of things happen. So my mission as an artist and just as a human is to help us reconnect to that light that we have inside that just fills us up and brings us excitement and makes us just tingle and sparkle and helps us shine brighter in the world to help us achieve what we want. And I have the unique background of also being in corporate training and coaching for the last 20 years. So I've been able to meld art and training together. And now I bring creative workshops into corporations, into their leadership and executive teams to help them expand their creative thinking and bring the principles of creativity into their business so that they can have more emotional intelligence, be better leaders, and achieve their personal and business goals faster and better than they could before. So it's really dynamic things that I do and that I'm able to share, and I just love it. I just love it. I love it.
You're speaking my language, sister. Spark the light inside, right?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, spark the light inside. So that's your art behind you, right?
This is the latest collection. Of course, I do other work too, but it's all based on energy. And I've really been focusing on how the energy that we have, the energy that we allow in life, the energy of color and the vibration and frequency of that, how that then helps us reconnect to that inner spark. And so this is the latest collection. The blues are calming. There's energy in there. It's like moving waves or breaths, and it just helps bring you back to your center and to your core. It's a really interesting journey that I'm on as I'm starting to really think about frequency and color and how that affects our health and how that affects our connection to ourself, and how I can help bring this to the world, because I feel like we need it in today's environment. Like
we really need it. Your art is very healing. I mean, I know I've told you this a million times, but every time I look at it, it's almost as if it's moving, coming alive.
Especially this new collection, and it just, like, I get lost in it whenever I see it. I move with it and I get lost in it, and I hear, it's almost like I hear the waves or I hear the wind, and it just is that nature. It's like nature. It's nature.
So awesome.
Thank you. And you have seen, and we can show these if people want to go to my website later, like you have seen the energy bursts, the color bursts, and the explosions that I do that are all based on our inner light and our inner energy. So my work is all about energy and reconnection to that spark and energy inside.
I love it. I've always loved your art. Yes. So tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you're at today, where you used to be and how you got here.
Yeah, so I love telling my story. I mean, and I always have a million stories, and they all fit together. I mean, we all do, especially as we get up to middle age and beyond. So just quickly, I'll set the stage by saying I come from a highly successful family of lawyers and business people, businessmen. And so being an artist was never on the radar. It was never on the agenda. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but it had to be within this logical track. And when I was in school, working my way through a couple of majors, I ended up taking an art class, and it just lit me up inside. And I am so lucky because I actually experienced one of those moments of calling where I knew that this is what I was meant to do, and this was the track that I had to follow. So I changed my major. I told my lawyer family that this is what I was doing, and they just thought I was crazy. They just thought I was crazy.
So awesome.
But I did it anyway. And went to art school, and out of school was painting and showing all around Austin. And then how I got into the corporate world was that I got scared. Bottom line, I thought I had cancer. I didn't. I'm fine. But I went corporate for the money to be able to support myself, and for the insurance to be able to handle that. God forbid something should happen. And I found a niche in corporate training, which really sparked, if you will, but also fulfilled that creative need that I had. So after a while, I just quit painting and I focused on corporate. And similar to you, I started checking off the boxes and the promotions and whatever it took to follow that path and follow that guidance. And I will always say as well, and I think it's important for people to know, like, I made very, very conscious decisions about being happy. Did I take this job or did I take this job? Did I follow this promotion or did I stay here and learn something new? And it was all based on my inner intuition and gut feel about what would make me happy. That was my primary goal in life. How do I make decisions that make me happy? And it worked for a really long time. It worked for a long time. And then it didn't. And I couldn't figure out why. Like, I checked all the boxes. And now fast forward 20 years. I checked all the boxes, taken the promotions I wanted to take, knew that I was following a part of my path for sure in training and coaching, and was more and more interested in coaching all the time. But I had stopped creating. I had stopped painting for 20 years and I'd put it down. Like, that wasn't my identity anymore. And during that time, my father passed away, and I watched him die on his deathbed, filled with regrets of his life. And it made a really profound impact on me. And so while I knew that I always wanted to be happy, I also got the added layer of not dying with regret. And so fast forward after that 20-year mark, and I had checked all those boxes, and something was just not right. Like, there was just something not right. I was discontent in work. My relationships were suffering with my senior leaders who I really respected. I had this angst inside, and I couldn't figure out why, after following my inner guidance, that I was so conflicted. Like, I couldn't figure it out. And then my husband one day asked me, he was like, "How was your day?" Like, it was just so simple. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this story specifically, but he was like, "How was your day?" And I started bawling, like big soppy tears at the dinner
Right, because
table.
it was all built up, right?
It was all built up. It had just come out. And so anyway, that was the start of the journey. And I looked at him and I thought to myself, I cannot show up this way for him in my marriage. And I looked at my then 4-year-old son, and I was like, I cannot show my son that this is what he has to look forward to in life. And I am not going to live my life with this kind of angst. And so it sent me on a journey to figure out why I felt so disconnected from myself. And over the course of a couple of years and getting some really powerful coaches in my life, it was all about creating. I started hearing this whisper to create again, and it was so tiny, like it was teeny tiny. Create. And I remember
your soul, your intuition,
your soul and your intuition. And I remember consciously saying to my coach at the time, I was like, that doesn't matter. That was then. This is now. Like this is who I am now. And I stopped creating 20 years ago. And she was like, well, maybe so, but that's what you got to do. Like, that's what you got to do. And so I started a journey of reconnecting with my creativity. And I didn't have the goal of leaving my job. I didn't have the goal of creating this business. I knew something would come of it, but I didn't know what. My goal was reconnecting with my soul, and my goal was reconnecting to my spark, because I knew that by then I knew that was the missing piece. And so by reconnecting with my soul, it led to more opportunities, more diversity, this integration of skills that I would have never thought was possible. And the feeling inside that I now have is like indescribable. Like when I am in front of a corporation sharing the lessons and the learnings about my journey and the lessons and learning about creating and creativity, like there is nothing better in the world. And so it was kind of a long story, but that's the story.
No, it's so wonderful. I mean, the passion that you have for your work really shows through. And I know you spoke of your experience with your dad. I'm really sorry to hear about your dad and your experience with your husband, right? Where it all just kind of, it's like the dam burst. So every experience, every experience in our lives shapes who we are, right? Who we become. Right. And those were two very significant times that you spoke of. Are there any other times in your life that you feel were prominent in helping you become who you are today?
Yeah, so there was those two. There were those two very specific ones. There was also the one when I was in art school where I got the download of like, this is what you are meant to do. It's like it's like a calling, like a
right.
Calling. So
yeah.
there were those three.
It's like knock knock.
Right.
The divine calling.
Yeah, and then the last one, I would say the most recent one. It's like you forks in the road where you can go A or B. Sometimes you have a C as well. The last one was in my last corporate job as a full-time employee for a company, and my role was shifting, and they came to me and was like, well, we're dissolving your role. We're bringing it back into the corporate office, because I was and am remote. And you can either choose to stay with the company in this new role, or we can talk about how this is not a good fit anymore and we dissolve our relationship here. And so I made the conscious choice.
Hello?
Hello? Oh.
Yep. Okay. We got you. You're here.
So I made the conscious choice just to dissolve that relationship. And in that choice, also made the conscious choice to focus and grow my business. And so that was a defining moment as well in the creation and evolution of Ellen Jenny Watkins as a brand and an artist and a thriving business. So that.
I just love the combination of work that you do. It's so unique and beautiful.
Thank you.
So what would you say, because we talked a lot about when you started to feel your soul's call, right? You got this download of what you're meant to do, and you felt the pull toward moving forward on, down that path. What would you say to others who are feeling that call to do more, but they haven't yet taken the leap?
Well, I find that the single most important thing is having the courage to follow it, because we can hear what we're supposed to do, just like when I had that whisper, create.
Yeah.
Like we can hear it and we can know it in our intuition, and you can know what your gut says to do, but the secret sauce is having the courage to take action on that, even tiny steps. Like my husband has a life lesson of just one thing. If you have all these projects and you do just one thing, then you're one step closer tomorrow than you were yesterday. So I took that lesson and brought it into my art. And when I started reconnecting with my creativity, that was my theme. Just one mark. Make just one mark as I'm facing ridiculous inner demons, like so powerfully and so strong, and the limiting talk and self-beliefs. Like I would never talk to someone the way I talked to myself, and what I heard in my head about not being good enough and not mattering, and what I had to offer didn't matter to the world. Like I would never say that to somebody, but I know that's what other people hear too. And so having the courage to take one step over and over and over again is what I would say to someone who's hearing their own calling.
Yeah, I really feel your emotion on that, you know, and I was in that place too. And what you mentioned is just really, really important, because that's what stops us from following that inner guidance, is the doubt, the fear, the lack of confidence in ourselves, because many of us are conditioned and brought up to believe that success is compartmentalized in this box, and that unless you have this education or this occupation or these material things, then you're not going to be successful. But it's just not true. And all you have to do is have the courage to start taking at least the first step forward, and then the universe will meet you.
Right. Truly. And over and over and over and over again, because it's so easy to stop. It is so easy to stop. Like it is, I was telling someone else this the other day. It would be so easy for me to say, I'm just going to stay doing my corporate gigs, and not the workshops, but stay in corporate training because it's just enough to keep me there. And I'm going to stay working in digital marketing because it's good pay and there's good career track, and I have a family, like all these reasons why I should do this. And what I could do that. And what I keep coming back to for me were those defining moments of having all those boxes checked, check, and still feeling empty on the inside because I wasn't doing what I was called to do, and crying at the dinner table. And then separately, that whole life lesson of dying with regret, which now has shifted to living with delight and focusing on how I want to live. Being on my deathbed and being able to look back on my life and know that I tried and took actions on the things that I was called to do, so that I can be there and look back and say, I chose to live a life of delight.
Yeah, I love that. I love that word, delight, joy, bliss. Yes. Follow your bliss, right? It's true. We aren't meant to, come to earth, be alive, suffer, be in pain, and die. We're meant to feel joy and fulfillment and happiness. What makes the journey feel harder is our own doubt and fear.
Right.
and beliefs about what we think is and isn't possible. That's why it's so important to have faith, because we don't know how the whole light switch works. We have our own very limited perception
Right.
of what we know to be true or not true, possible or not possible. So our willingness to step forward is so critical.
So critical. And I think that, like I said, taking the action for me, and I think for most people, really is the secret sauce, because we can hear the guidance all day long, but unless we have the courage to follow those actions, even incrementally, then we're not going to be doing what we're called to do. Right.
Yeah.
And that leads to that trail of, well, crying at the dinner table. So,
Right. It leads to not being fulfilled. It's living comfortably unhappy, or uncomfortably unhappy, if you reach your limit, which happens at some point too. But
right. And I believe that's different from everybody, right? Following my calling to be an artist and now sharing the creative lessons in this corporate world that's evolving is not the calling that other people are going to hear. They're going to hear what's true for them and what they're meant to bring into the world and what's going to light them up in the way that's best. And I think that is so exciting in today's world. Instead of only having the ability to look like this, we really do have the ability to shine the flashlight like this and see that there's so much more opportunity that's available to us if we're just willing to look up like this and take one step forward over and over and over again towards that.
Yes, trusting ourselves, trusting our higher power.
Right.
So much so I could talk about this for days. So tell everybody where they can find you for your art, for your workshops.
Okay, so the best place to find me is at my website, ellenjennywatkins.com. You can contact me through there, and there are links to the website. You can also follow me on Instagram, ellenjennywatkins, for art and the creation of the art. That's where I share those videos. And then for workshops and corporate environments, you can connect to me through LinkedIn as well. So all those three places, website, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or just go to ellenjennywatkins.com.
I have to say, with the work that you're doing, right, you would definitely expect to see it on Instagram and or Facebook, and even with the workshops on LinkedIn. But what I just can't get enough talking about is how amazing your art is. And not just, in terms of the benefit of someone having it at home, right? But the benefit and the healing benefits of having something like that in a corporate office environment would be amazing.
Yeah, I think
so I just have to put that extra plug in there.
Thank you for that. I'm so excited to see how this continues to evolve and where it ends up, because it's not just the workshops that are really helping expand our thinking in our corporate environment, and female leaders specifically are really drawn to my work. And as we bring what we bring to the earth, as we bring it into the corporate environment, business is changing. Like, our world is changing. AI is coming. We're global now. Like, we have to think like this. And what women bring to the workplace with the ability of empathy, natural creative thinkers as well, like, it is changing the way businesses do work. More women leaders on boards creates more revenue for the company. And so I love it that I get to help develop and grow and expand the female leaders of today and the ones that are coming for tomorrow. I think it's such a dynamic thing. And then the work that's going to be in these offices to help inspire them and energize them and give them passion and excitement, not only individually, but as a team. Like, that's just going to be good for all of us. I really just see such great things continuing to happen.
I see it too. Yeah. I'm excited about it too. I mean, we create our reality from within, right? It's not the other way around, like a lot of us are brought up or, taught to be. And so through focusing on emotional intelligence, focusing on others' happiness and fulfillment and well-being, that's what we're creating for the near future and for the long-term future.
Absolutely, right? It's all about the energy from within. And the fact that I've had the opportunity to work for some of the top tech companies in the world and be exposed to the concepts of energy, not only from a scientific standpoint, but from an energetic, spiritual standpoint as well, like in an intuitive standpoint, I just see, I said it already, I just see such amazing things happening.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to help bring this energy to our world.
Well, I have been absolutely thrilled to have you here with me for this conversation today, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Feel free to contact me with any questions or comments, or let me know what people say on your feed. I love connecting and in this. So thank you for inviting me to share all this.
I will. Thank you, Ellen.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.